Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now with stories trending around the world is Anieze Osakwe. Yes. Good morning, Annie.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai. And good morning, Ayo. Great to be with all of you. I hope everyone is well.
Yes, we're doing good. Thanks.
Good.
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all. And good morning to everyone out there. Thank you all for starting your day with us. Starting today a little early, but we start in Delta State, where the Anambra State Governor, Charles Soludo, put his economist hat on, declaring on Monday that Nigeria's macroeconomic environment has stabilized, it's on the rise, and is more attractive to investors now more than ever. Now, Soludo made these comments at the Delta State Economic and Investment Summit in Asaba, where he also called on leaders and the public to stop buying clothes from China, Italy, Paris, but to instead buy made in Nigeria only. Let's watch.
Message that was given is that from a macroeconomic standpoint, Nigeria has stabilized and on the rise. We cannot create the kind of jobs that we want with all of us patronizing foreign or imported goods. I look in this room and I see the suits from Europe, from America, from China. I see all, and that's Professor Lumumba. I agree with you. We've got to make it Africa. If you look at me too, I am wearing Akwete. Akwete is the name of a village in Abia. My daughter introduced me to it in 2019, and I have made it my daily uniform.
Now, as the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria under President Olusegun Obasanjo, hearing Soludo say that the macroeconomic environment has stabilized carries weight. But many Nigerians are thinking, what about the microeconomics of it all, the lived experiences of people day to day? They also had some thoughts about wearing made in Nigeria on X, so I'll take some reactions right now. The first one from Nova, who said, the governor makes a good point about the importance of supporting local industries. If more Nigerians consistently buy made in Nigeria, it can boost manufacturing, create jobs, strengthen the economy. But local products need to be affordable and widely available for consumers to actually embrace them. Progress comes from combining consumer support with policies that help businesses grow. Then Dipo said, the irony here is the fact that the clothing materials of Governor Soludo's outfit were imported. Another good example were the AMVCAs. Top Nigerian designers showcased their talent with great designs, but unfortunately, a majority of the clothing materials and accessories were imported. We must be intentional about our local industry and focus on processing before items leave our shores. And meanwhile, we had the WTO Director-General Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala came with some hard truths at that same summit, declaring that the country's poor maintenance culture is actively undermining its infrastructure and slowing economic development. Let's watch.
The fact is that endowments alone do not add value. Budgetary allocations alone do not lead to new roads, to good maintenance. We lack a maintenance culture in the country. I have to say that I'm Nigerian, and I was telling Engineer Austin Avuru, thanking him for mentioning maintenance.
Rufai, this hits at the heart of critiques that instead of building, commissioning, developing, state and federal governments should instead focus on maintaining, and economics was the theme. Economics, business, what do you make of these comments?
No, they're very apt. She's very apt. We don't know how to maintain things. We destroy things, we pulled out things. We pulled out things, we're always building new things, but the ones we have before, how have we maintained them? And we're spending so much more when we ought to be using our money for other things. I'd like to congratulate Delta State, the state of my birth, as regards that feat. But I have to say some things. I hope this is not a talk shop. We have many investment summits. Deals are signed. But what's the follow-up? I hope it's not a talk shop. I hope that we can truly solve those internal cultural problems. Lack of maintenance, doing a proper follow-up, creating enabling business environments. Will this event bring about a change in the attitude of some civil servants in states where to carry file, they would rather that their own bribe comes more than the people that ought to bring investment and infrastructure to the states? It is not today that Delta State was the hub of investment. It has always been the hub of investment. Delta is one of those states that had an airport that was built by private sector, where government invests a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe apart from Asaba. And that's why Delta, to show you the height of Delta, that's why Delta has 2 airports, one in Asaba, one in Warri. So what are we going to do? This is a rebirth of Delta they are trying out. And we all know what led to the problems in Delta. I was part of the golden era of Delta, where the oil sector was booming, where you had all the oil servicing firms, where you had the likes of Oceaniari and Co.,
right,
where you had the likes of OTS, Overseas Technical Services, another oil servicing company that was a hub of Delta. But the fight and the chaos made people leave. So how can we bring Delta back to the very heights?
Right.
In fact, there were some kind of, investments and good things that were coming to Delta then that most states in this country didn't have. So it's not just a talk shop. Let's bring Delta back to where it used to be before.
Very strong words. All eyes on Delta State. And before we take our next story, we have this heartwarming video showing a group of women welcoming Dr. Okonjo-Iweala to Delta State as the Princess of Ogwashi-Uku Kingdom. And it's making the rounds on social media. Now, the women were seen singing and dancing to the popular Na Our Mama Be This song that I know we love here on What's Trending, celebrating the return of their illustrious daughter. Let's watch. Lovely. There's truly nothing like coming home. But let's now take a look at the last 48 hours or so in Osun State, starting with new videos flooding social media of women dressed in full hijab, leading a solidarity march for the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate, Asiwaju Munirudeen Bola Oyebamiji, also known as AMBO, in Osogbo on Monday. Let's watch. Powerful visuals. A lot of people were talking about that on social media. And meanwhile, we also had new videos from Sunday revealing the extent of unease in Osun State with the convoy of Dr. Sekinat Oyebamiji, AMBO's wife, attacked by suspected hoodlums in the Alajue area of Ede South local government area. Now, sources say the attack happened Sunday night after she was leaving a political event. And while she was not hurt, videos emerged of the chairman of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Sekona branch, with severe head injuries. Viewers' discretion is advised, but let's take a look.
Wọ́n wá lọ gba ibi ọ̀dọ̀ Sákìwù lótò yẹn jábẹ́ ọmọ gáàsì àwọn náà wá cross sí ibi ilé bàbá ilé ọ̀fà gbogbo wọn lọ hang síbẹ̀ pé káwọn ọmọ wọn ṣiṣẹ́ lọ.
tó fún àwọn ni wọ́n ṣàrán àwọn ìmọ̀mọ́ràn láti wá bọ Enugu lórí.
Àti Òjó Jasper.
Ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ wo ni wọ́n?
Ọmọ Àkọ́ọ̀dù ni wọ́n.
Accord Party.
Accord Party.
Wọ́n dé fìlà bí wọ́n dé fìlà.
Àwọn dé fìlà ìlà yẹ́lò bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí wọn. Ìlà yẹ́lò bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí wọn.
Ọlọ́run á fẹ́ lálàáfíà.
All of this coming as Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke is sending an urgent alarm to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, alleging systematic repression, killings, and mass arrests of Accord Party members in the state. Now, speaking at a campaign rally in Osogbo also on Sunday, the governor alleged that in the last 3 months alone, 7 Accord members have been killed, over 20 hurt by gunshots, and more than 60 languishing in what he described as illegal police detention. Now, the governor pointedly asked the president to call former Governor Boyega Oyetola and Senator Francis Fadausi to order, declaring that Osun is bleeding. Let's watch.
President Bola Tinubu, nǹkan tó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lóṣù tẹ́ ẹ̀ dá sí. Nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láti ní Ọ̀ṣun, President Tinubu ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní Ọ̀ṣun, wọ́n ń pa àwọn èèyàn wa. Ẹ̀yin ni President, ẹ̀yin ni bàbá gbogbo wa o. Wọ́n ń pa àwọn èèyàn wa o. Ọ̀ṣun, wọ́n ti sọ wípé àwọn ò ní darí kì í ní o. Kò ní síríkì ní Ọ̀ṣun o. Ẹ̀rọ ti tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 1983. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ o. Àti ní Oǹdó tó yọ Bọ́ládé jẹ́, tó yọ bàbá wa Gàsí jẹ́. Ẹ̀rọ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ o. Ọ̀ṣun ò ní gbà o. We want free and fair election. That's it. President Tinubu, I'm passing this message to you. Kí lẹ fẹ́ kí Ọ̀ṣun ṣe? A ní pé àti endorse yìí kí ló dé? Kí ló dé? Kí ó fi pa wá? Kí ló dé? Kí ó fi pa ọmọ Yorùbá? Àwọn ọlọ́pàá ti wà compromise. Ẹ jẹ́ kí ó máa wá sí bọ́dà wa. Àwọn kidnappers wà bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ bá wọn. Àwọn tó jí ọ̀bẹ, President Tinubu wọn ń fi àsìkò yìí sọ fún yín. Kẹ́lá sọ pé mi ò pariwo. I am the chief security officer of Osun State. Oyetola need to be called to order. You are not the governor of Osun State. When you cheated me in 2018, I left you to govern. I traveled to America on a self-exile. And I let you do what you have to do. Now I am back. I am back. I am back. I am back.
These are serious allegations Dr. Abati made not in a press release, but directly to the president at a public rally. Remember, the state is just 11 days away from the governorship election. The Accord Campaign Council has also warned that arresting and killing Accord leaders will not stop Governor Adeleke's re-election. And we heard him there say it, Osun is bleeding.
Well, I think we should just reiterate the position already established on this table, that the election in Osun, August 15, must be free, fair, credible, and completely without violence. That the ordinary voter in Osun must be given every opportunity to vote without any fear, without any form of harassment or violence. The APC is complaining. Mrs. Oyebamiji, we were told, was, harassed, attacked in Ede South or local government there. Some Accord Party NURTW persons also said they were attacked. Now you have the governor who has consistently been saying, look, members of the Accord Party are being attacked, and he's reminding the president of Nigeria that the president has a responsibility to wade in, not to turn Osun State into either Ondo State in 1983 or Oyo State in 1983, the aftermath of which is already very well documented. And I think that the president should pay attention to what both sides are saying. It's not just Accord Party. Also, APC is also complaining. What we need in Osun is peace. And that is the message. And August 15 should come and go, and it should be peaceful. And the police, that has been saying is a professional police. The CP's name, Commissioner of Police, I think his name is Ibrahim Gohan. He's been talking, saying he's in charge. We expect professionalism on the part of the Osun State Police Command. If they do not do their job, we will also be here to call them to account.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't have violence when it comes to these matters in a free and fair election. But more on matters of insecurity, with police in Kogi State officially launching an investigation into the killing of a Catholic priest, Reverend Samuel Oyetoro, with reports saying he was gruesomely attacked with a machete last Friday, throwing the entire community into a state of shock and mourning. Let's watch.
The parishioner called me and he told me that the body was deposited to the mortuary, and they have identified the corpse as that of our visiting priest, Reverend Father Samuel Oyetoro. So I rushed to the hospital, to the mortuary, and I saw a couple of our parishioners there already depressed, and nobody could believe really what happened.
May his soul rest in peace. And, we do know that the Kogi police have also said that detectives have begun a full investigation into what happened and what led to this devastating attack. And more on insecurity, because we have breaking developments from Enugu State, where a joint security team has rescued one of 3 victims abducted during Sunday morning mass at St. Joseph Catholic Church in Afa community. This is in Udi local government area of the state. But here's the issue. 2 victims, including a seminarian, Kelvin Ochai, are still in captivity as we speak. Residents of Udi took to the streets on Sunday in protest, crying out to Governor Peter Mba to intervene ASAP. Let's take a look.
Enugu State. Anyị sịrị gị gbakwa anyị o. MRG. Anyị sịrị gị gbakwa anyị. Anyị sịkwara n'obu unu anyị na-atịrị aka wụtọ. Anyị be nwebe nwaanyị tiri na ọgatụkwa ka anyị ga na adị emeri ndị anyị ji vote olu unu maka na o nweghị nyekanyeka. A ga na akụkọ ụmụ anyị damtọ na-aga site n'ime unu. Mgbe a ga-site n'ime unu ụka.
Now, the Enugu State Commissioner of Police has directed an intensified rescue operation, deploying all available assets, including the Enugu State Command and Control Center, equipped with even drone capabilities. Meanwhile, Governor Peter Mba has since visited Afa community in person, reassuring the people living there that the state is committed to rescuing the 2 victims remaining and bringing these perpetrators to justice. And let's now take this other story out of Kaduna State, because Governor Uba Sani on Monday handed over new homes, brand new homes, to the families of 2 victims of insecurity. The late Venerable Edwin Achi, a clergyman killed by terrorists while in captivity in November of 2025, and the late Umul Khairi Usman Aliyu, who was lynched by a mob along the Kaduna-Zaria Expressway. Now, the governor formally presented both families with certificates of occupancy, and Venerable Edwin Achi's widow, Sarah Achi, was filled with tears of gratitude. Let's take a look.
This is your house. This is your house.
Jesus, 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 Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus.
As a government, we made it clear that we will not let the families of the victims of insecurity in Kaduna State alone. We will always be with them. But today I'm happy she has recovered. And of course, the house have been also given to her. And of course, it will go a long way in settling the family. And also, as a government, like we promised, we will support the family.
I mean, what a surprise. The Anglican Archbishop of Kaduna Province, Most Reverend Timothy Yahaya, praised the governor for keeping his promise, saying that his actions have restored hope to grieving families. And in a country where victims of insecurity are so often forgotten, it feels like Kaduna State has shown that government can remember. Governor Sani has also pledged similar support for families affected by the recent attack in Kauru as well. And this feels like leadership and compassion in action. So thank you to the governor for, taking this on and just showing the personalized aspect that government can take.
Kudos to the governor on keeping a promise that he made. I think right from the stories and updates on insecurity, and what this all speaks to is that we have a real issue and concern on our hands when it comes to insecurity, stating the obvious, to be fair. We have from Kogi State, as you mentioned, Enugu State, the people crying out to the governor to do something, and then of course now in Kaduna State. What these stories also point to is that whilst we're still having the conversation around state policing, there are still efforts that can be made by state governors to support the fight against terrorism and even for victims or survivors of these activities. In the Enugu State instance, the governor, we've often talked about his proactiveness in the purchase of drones, patrol vans. There were announcements only recently where he did that. He's updated the security equipment in the state. In the state of the Kaduna State government, we've often talked about support for those who've lost members, those who have survived, and it's great to see that there's some form of compensation from the government. They have a home. It doesn't wipe away the experience by any means. She hasn't fully recovered. I mean, it is a comfort, it's a cushion, it's a safety net. But beyond all of this, what we are pushing for, of course, is that we don't have to have incidents where people are coming out to cry out, to ask for their, for their family members' livelihoods to be secure. And so this is again doubling down on asking the government to do what its responsibility entails, the protection of lives and properties. But just to say that state governors, even though they do not have that power of police, of the state police, can still make an effort in the fight against terrorism in different ways. And this has been exhibited by Governor Obasani and also by Governor Peter Mba, and a lot more must be done.
Absolutely. Great way to frame it, as, insecurity continues to, ravage the country, essentially. Now under milestones, where today, August 4, we're celebrating one of the country's most distinguished public figures, Dr. Patrick Dele Cole, a journalist, a newspaper executive, a diplomat, and more, as he turns 86 today. Now, Dr. Dele Cole was born in 1940 and comes from Abonema in River State. A through line throughout his life and career was this deep interest in education, starting here in Nigeria before taking on the University of Otago in New Zealand, followed by Cambridge University, where he earned his doctorate in history. Now, that pursuit of knowledge and storytelling brought him into the world of journalism, becoming the managing director of the Daily Times in the mid-70s. By the 80s, he stepped into a life of diplomacy, serving as Nigeria's ambassador to both Argentina and Brazil. Over the course of his career, he also took on politics, contesting as a presidential candidate under the Social Democratic Party, as well as the River State governorship race under the People's Democratic Party.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I mean, what a storied and accomplished career across industries. From all of us at Arise News, we wish Dr. Patrick Dele Cole a very, very happy birthday. I mean, what a career. I was fascinated just reading about his background and all of his endeavors. I'm not sure if any of you have a birthday wish for him.
We can only wish him the very best. I mean, we can only wish him. I've met him a couple of times. I've had a chance to interact with him. I mean, Dr. Abati can say more because these were the guardian people. So these were the family people. You know, he's done a lot for journalism.
Yeah.
And you know, the good thing about him, in his lifetime, he's also seen the son do very well. I'm talking about Tonyeko, you know, vied for governorship in Rivers and everything. Built successful companies, good successful business. I mean, he's a blessed man. So I know there's a small house party going on somewhere. This evening we will definitely pop in there and we'll do RSVP. You know what RSVP is? Rice and stew, very plenty. That's
I've never heard that before.
Oh, you've not heard it?
I've never heard that before.
We're going to do RSVP there, you know, and he's a great man. Great man.
One of the leading figures in public service, in journalism, in management, in diplomacy, in contemporary Nigeria, in Nigeria of the 21st century. He started at the cabinet office, part of that team that worked with the former head of state, as he then was, General Olusegun Obasanjo. And he distinguished himself so well in the cabinet office, and then went on to play major roles in Nigerian history. You mentioned his managing directorship of Daily Times, but he was also one of the founding fathers of The Guardian newspaper. He was a friend of Mr. Alex Ibro, the founder, and from Daily Times, with Stanley McKeble, that generation brought the tradition, the New York Times tradition, to The Guardian. And that was why that paper was conceived as an intellectual newspaper, considered at the time one of the best 5 newspapers written in the English language in the whole of Africa. He was a father figure. When I was chairman editorial board, 2000 to 2011. It was, in fact, one of those voices of wisdom, elder, in the room that we consulted, who had the sense of history and who brought, to the task of editorializing the finest of that tradition, which we tried to champion at The Guardian at the time. He's also, of course, it goes without saying, an intellectual. One of his books on Lagos, Modern Politics and the Elites of Lagos, is one of the major reference books on the evolution of Lagos. So, and he has remained a major source of inspiration for younger generations in terms of ideas, the promotion of ideas and of education. So congratulations to him. Yes. He has had a very good run, and we wish him many more years of service to humanity.
Absolutely. What a life, what a career. As we bring What's Trending to a close. It was great speaking with all of you. Thank you for your fantastic analysis on What's Trending today.
Thank you very much, Annie.